So hello, good evening, welcome to the Wow Chaingang, the Women's Only Wednesday. We're live on the Full Speed Events YouTube channel, and we're going to be bringing you all of the action. When I say we, well, I get to talk about the action, and at Biking Emma, or Emma Martin, as she's known outside of social media, is going to be leading the ride tonight. Please do jump on board if you're going to come for a ride, get registered, or get the links from the Zwift events page, all part of Full Speed Events, making sure that we get out and about and supporting all of our events. At the moment, looks like the riders are away and heading off. Jan Taylor are red beacon out there. So as they make their way towards the actual start proper, let's take you through the route and where we are heading tonight. So tonight we are going to the Leith Hill after party. This is an absolutely classic when it comes to Chaingang. It is a good Chaingang route because it's basically bumpy all the way around. Essentially, this is laps of the bottom loop, and then we hit the top of the climb eventually after we turn right at Waterloo Bridge. Key distances to remember are 36k the start of the climb, 42k top of the climb. All the rest are little bumps or bumps depending on how good your spelling is. So our riders just heading out. Our yellow beacon is down in there in the yellow. I think it's time for us to dive on down with the riders. You can see they're already making their way out. One or two riders just chasing onto the back of the group. So let's dive in with the Chaingang. So a quick reminder for everybody, if you are out at the back, jump out, drop out, jump back in again. So you can see that Maisie Harper at the moment just sat there. Jump out, quit the event, jump back in again. You'll find yourself magically transported by the power of Zwift into the group at the front. A quick reminder how that it works. Basically, the easy way to make this work is you are going to ride with our yellow beacon. That is Emma for the duration of the ride. The aim is to stay absolutely glued to the wheel of your beacon. That is Emma just over there. I'm just going to move our little camera around. So Emma from Full Speed Events, Emma Martin, the yellow beacon, is going to be leading our riders out. You can see Emma at the moment continuing to just keep a steady pace here with the group, just holding them together. And at the moment, waiting for everybody to get in to that pack and regroup. Then it will kick. So Julie just missing to get the live feed. Welcome Julie if you've made it into us. Izzy Torrey here on board in with the gang. Emma Gilbert keep trying to connect the Watt bike. She's got to keep on trying. Hardwire everything is always my key thing. Hardwire the lot. The more you hardwire things together with bits of copper cable, the better it is. So it looks like the gang just rolling their way in together. Just think Emma Gilbert is the rider at the moment who's having a little bit of an issue at the side of the road. She is indeed. It looks like Joanne Lee took nicely into the gang here, along with Balkans. Just to see if we can get some first names to be. We always like to have first names rather than just surnames. It seems very polite to me. So back as our Belgian rider just tucked in alongside Lee at the minute. You can just see Brad and Co in here. Brad, one of our riders, having made the gain, looking pretty smooth at the moment. The 2K PACs group rolling along nicely, and I'm sure as our helicopter shot shows, basically a nice big car-sized group. Now, let's take a little bit of a look. Looks like Miss Cookie on board today. We've got some of our real regulars. Nicholas Soden in here, good to see. Let's have a look. Emma Dooley in here from Fear. Looks like we've got Rebecca Winfield in. So Whitfield is in here. Tracy Seeley, the Terminator T2.0. Pip Morn is on board. Looks like Sousa in here. That's Louisa Sousa in with the gang as well. Just going to take a little bit of a check through. Who else we've got? Emily Bridson, Nicole Wells in here, so looking good. And looks like Maisie Harper trying to get back in and get back out, having a number of dropouts at the moment. So Maisie, jump out, jump back in again, but you do need to be pedaling at some point. I know you're really good on the mountain bike. Very different environment in here. So Rachel Whitfield, Pip Moore, Julie Pratt, Joanne Lee in here, Izzy Torring, Miss Cookie, Jan Taylor, just in with Emma Dooley of Fear in that classic jersey that we regularly see her wearing. It is one of the most recognisable kits in Zwift. Looks like everybody pretty much together as they make their way in and through. So back in the room, apologies for that everybody, just having to do a multitude of things. Busy weekend for the full speed events team. Myself over at the Cyclocross World Championships. Thank you everybody who's watching across the BBC, across all the various channels, including some of the channels that weren't intending to get there. Then if in doubt, thank you very much. It's always good to get the feedback, the views, the comments, the likes, the chat. Please, thank you very much. Joanne, loved the comments. Thank you very much. It was a really, really long, tough weekend, I have to say. And apologies if by the end of it sounded like I had sandpaper for vocal cords. But that was pretty much a good description. It was, they were about 14, 15-hour days every day. So oddly enough, my ice cream consumption was low. My caffeine consumption was actually really low as well, like 2 coffees for the entire day. So there we go. Now, it looks like the red bus already starting to decide on a pace. Jan Taylor just saying Jan likes that 2.5 watts per kilo bus pace. So would I, Jan. I would definitely intend on being in there. Now, key on the ride, jump on board with the gang. Good to see that we've got Maisie back in with us. She's made the junction, got out, gone back in again. Limited amount of time left to be able to do that. Remember, that late start is only for the first 30 minutes. So as we make our way around the loop, you can see on the top left-hand side, essentially going down underneath the underpass at the moment. We are in with the gang, rolling our way in and down. Now in with Emma Gilbert. Looks like Emma managing to get the Watt bike sorted as she makes her way down in and through. Remember, this is London Leith Hill After Party. This is all about riding the loop, staying in the pack, following the instructions of the yellow beacon. At some point, the trigger will be pulled, the plunger will be pushed, the pin on the grenade will be pulled out and the grenade launched. And at that point, there are no rules, there are no limits. That is indicated by 3 G's and 3 O's. Generally it's G followed by an O, followed by a G, followed by an O, followed by a G, followed by an O. But I'm not going to say those 3 words because, of course, we know that when that happens, all hell will be unleashed. The dogs will be let loose and the entire pack will disintegrate in a furious flurry of frenzied pedalling. That's as good as the words are going to get today. Believe me, I'm running out. Now, don't forget, if you jump onto the YouTube channel, which you must be if you're hearing me right now, you can click the subscribe button on here for our events. Please do, whilst you're on, jump on board and give @BikingEmma a follow on Instagram. It's @Biking_Emma, @MattFixThePaint, and of course @FullSpeed Events. We don't make anything out of producing the chain gang. They're doing all the admin, making it all run. It is very much about providing a platform for a women's chain gang and broadcasting it out there. So we really love it if you help us, because we love helping you. And if you feel the same way, then you can help us. It's really simple. The way to do so, please give us a follow, give us a subscribe, share it out, tell your friends, get the riders on board, keep the bodies in. We get support from Zwift in terms of logistically putting it on, but we have to hit the numbers. So please, guys, tell your mates. Get them on board, get them onto the chain gang. Now, if you're on board the chain gang tonight and you're thinking, ooh, okay, let's see how we're doing, how's things going. We're going pretty good. The gang is nice and smooth, which is always good to see. You can just see it from our helicopter shot here. The riders looking pretty comfortable as they make their way down this straight here, just heading down towards the river. So through the chicane, this is the opposite way round to the course as it is used or as a So very much the course as is used on the Greater London flag, going in the opposite direction. So heading out round, the gang looking pretty smooth today. No real dramas. It's always good to see on the gang. Everybody looking smooth. And just seeing Rhea Mobs' name appearing up on the screens here. So Rhea, one of our regular fast riders, one of our riders who we know is going to be in at the girl when it gets all spicy. So good to see Rhea in here. So been hiding down deep in the bush. Good to see Rhea on board. Good to see that we've got Vale back from the next power bike in Shore. That's Jill Vale. Jill here last week, back again this week. Leading question from Emma for Rhea. How are your climbing legs? Because today, remember, quick reminder that this is all about making sure that you get those climbs in. So let's drop down out the 3D map, top left-hand side of your screen. So let's pull across the top of the screen, the 2D map here. So basically, we've got about 36 kilometres of really relatively easy roads. Bumpy, tricky, and of course, as the gang ramps, that's going to get harder and harder. But when we get to the end, let's say a massive thank you for Valley Viewer for their fantastic graphics all season. You can see that it is going to be much more difficult. So last night we had a Donny Chaingang, the members only Donny Chaingang. Quick reminder, if you are a member of the Donny Chaingang, that you are out there and riding on the Donny Chaingang as well. We do have the members meal at Nonna's now. It is exclusive to members of the Donny Chaingang supporters club, the DCG gang, so it only applies to you if you're a member. But be aware, we are on last 4 tickets. So if you don't get your finger out, you ain't going to go. It's really that straightforward, 4 tickets left, but it is members only of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Sports Club, who support the gang. But I know there are a number of members in on the ride today. Emma will be there, and myself, and you can just see Emma touch into the centre of this group, which is looking pretty smooth as they make their way down by the side of the river. Some familiar sights for people who are regularly down in London at the moment. Izzy Torrey just jumping off the back of the group here, and just easing back a little bit. Good to see that pretty much everybody all nice and smooth in the gang at the minute. Soden, one of our fantastic supporters, part of the amazing Tactic race team. Tactic represented by Nicholas Soden here tonight. Also got on board Izzy Torrey, who is an Aeonian rider on Zwift. The Aeonian squad taking a clean sweep across all of their teams in the team time trial last night. A very big achievement by them. Congratulations to the Aeonian squad. And everybody who was racing last night. The team time trial, particularly difficult discipline, but congratulations to them, absolutely flying. going rolling well, no hassles from anybody, looking good. So looks like 3 watts per kilo called by Emma. The bus running at 2.5 watts per kilo. Nobody taking up Jan on the bus at the moment. I'll tell you what, Jan Taylor is going to have, this could be the fastest bus ride of all time. At the moment, we've lost yellow. That's never a good sign. Just taking a little hunt through here for our yellow beacon, and we have indeed lost yellow. So in the absence of having a yellow beacon, if we could, I know that there's going to be a number of people in there. So if Tracy Seeley, I know you're on board today. Tracy, if you are listening, just quickly issue some apologies for us. And if Tracy, if you can take up the reins for the moment. I'm going to be a little quiet for the minute because I'm probably going to be going to do some little bit of tech fixing for the minute. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so Yellow Beacon's back, broadcast back. Hello, everybody. We're back. Half an hour in. Didn't just take a coffee break on us. No, actually, I should have done that. It would have been a really smart thing to do. Didn't happen today. Yes, local BT line. Apparently, the BT exchange going down. We actually have, well, the studio has 3 lines plus whatever, so we're not going to ever go down. Unfortunately for Emma, where she is, the machine that runs the Zwift at the moment she's on, she's sat on 1 line, so I've just ripped another line out of something else, put it into that one, and away it goes. As if by magic. So I'm loving the fact that Emma stayed at 3 watts per kilo in the hope that everybody came along at the right time. Let's see if it stays that way. A little bit of a check back down the line, see where everybody is. Looks like our red beacon still nicely tucked in here. So Jan Taylor in, and we've got some massive thank you to our red beacon, keeping everybody together. Looks like Louisa Souza not all that far off the just holding station at the rear of the group. So squeeze time. Jan Taylor holding the back of the pack. I know that's to be sitting at 2.5 watts per kilo. Now Miss Cookie not all that far away. It's coming nice and smooth and controlled. And whilst in here of the tactic squad along with Nicholas Soden. Pace pretty hot here at the moment. It's come down this fast section. We're just on that little riser before we drop down in underneath the key part of the course. That is the descent down into the underpass directly underneath Hyde Park Corner. The monument on top. The gang are on the way down in and under. So yes, the studios have a multitude of lines, including in fact something that doesn't rely on any exchange anywhere other than coming in from the sky above, and we do pull in from the satellite. So it could well be that we're going to be needing that tomorrow for the Donny Chaingang. Don't forget, of course, if you want to ride the Donny Chaingang tomorrow, then registration is free. You just need to go to www.buytickets.at/fullspeed-events. If you've got jumped on the ride tonight and you're thinking, oh, really like to know all the links, well, at the moment all the links to the end of February are available direct to your email inbox rather than waiting for the Zwift events page to plot them up. You can register for that on the WOW page at the same address, bottom left hand side of your screen. And don't forget, of course, we have the DCG Gang, Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. We're 2 more months left to go, February and March. We're into February, which is supported by Nonnas, and that is going to be running right to the end, and that is also including the Nonnas meal out for people who are members of the DCG Gang. And yeah, I'm just going to repeat that again now. There were only 4 tickets left. I haven't actually checked since we've been on air if that has changed. So our helicopter just being shadowed by the buildings. We come through central London, going to keep taking this left turn, dropping down the descent here, just coming in past Harrods basically at the moment. Just on the side of the park. Bit left-hand turn, drop away from this and start sending back down towards the river, down towards the Thames. And of course, last time that we do that, we'll be taking our right-hand turn over the bridge and going up on to the bank. And if you have been watching, if you remember your screens, you'll know that that point comes. We make our way in over the top. We're going to be taking that turn and run across once we get into the post 30-kilometre mark. It's about 32.5, 33k before when we take that little bit of a dive across, and then we roll round the side of the hills until we go on to Leith Hill proper. Band plays on as we make our way round through the side here. Everything looking pretty smooth at the moment. I tell you something, the gang really has evolved into a very smooth riding unit. Great to see everybody keeping that pace nice and high. Looks like a quick coffee break going in there. That may well be rear wolves in there. Now you're going to have to excuse me in a moment because I have a very important task. I'm hoping it's going to happen before the 3Gs, and that will be that I think it's going to be a caffeine refuel for me before we hit the hills. So at the same time, having not done that as we sorted out the tech issues out in the paint cave, it looks like we may well leave you in the capable hands of Emma very shortly. She makes her way in and through, and we are going to go fuel up ready for the 3Gs, which a little while away yet, hopefully. Well, one of the advantages of not being on site and being here in the studio is that I can dive in and grab a coffee whenever we need to, which is always a bonus. So our riders up, moving, looking good at the moment. A gang come down past Battersea Power Station in the rear, the nod to the Pink Floyd cover. But with our squirrels floating over the power station instead of pigs, as we make our way down towards what is going to be Vauxhall Bridge, then Westminster Bridge. At that point, we'll turn our way in around the circuit, but looking at the moment pretty smooth. No problems for anybody really here. Now, our red beacon getting a tough old workout today here. You can just see Jan Taylor took nicely in to the back of the group here. Jan in the pink and blue, that lamprey inspired kit, making her way down the side of the straight. Looking pretty smooth at the minute, which is always good to see. Always great when the bus is rolling nicely. So Jan keeping track on the back of the group, not letting anybody fall off the back, making sure everybody stays tucked in nice and smoothly together. Looking pretty smooth as they make their way on here. This is what we want to see. So nicely down the straight they go. Going to be coming past the section where the right-hand turn will be. You'll be able to see that coming up very shortly. There we go. We're going to go through past the bridge section. That's where we're going to be heading when we go out and over the bridge in a while. That's looking good at the moment on the gang. They're just going to come down, making their way down the straight past Westminster Abbey very shortly on the left-hand side, in past the Parliament Square and the Houses of Parliament on the right-hand side. So down through they come, past the Houses of Parliament, the big bang clock tower in the background, Westminster Abbey. So one side as they come down, we take the turn across the side of Parliament Square with Downing Street just off behind the buildings, the London Eye in the distance. We're going to make our way down through past St James's Park. It's going to be on our right-hand side. And Horse Guards Avenue just on the right-hand side as we make our way in towards the top and towards the climb up the side of Buckingham Palace as we head up to the Hyde Park Corner and drop down through the mall and then going to be heading across and out towards the start of the loop once again. This loop testing our riders, currently 24.5k on the clock, riding in with Miss Cookie at the moment, but pretty much everybody all together, nobody going anywhere. The gang is all together. So here we go, underneath the wedding cake, making our way through the turns. The riders just keeping it all together as they go down past the palace onto the climb. This in reality a tough little drag that will stretch the riders' legs. Making the way off up on to the top. It'll be a quick 180-degree turn before they drop back down again. So round the turn, on to the descent to go. Gang all together. The check going a little bit quiet. No surprises there as the pace picks up. Down past the post we go, big left hand turn onto the mall proper. Chases park on the left, the wedding cake is done on the right hand side of the road. That's where we're looking down from our winged rider. Looking down onto the straight, which has the sprint, no sprinting by anybody at the moment. Distance covered 26.4k. At the moment, the riders quickly making their way down here. And remember, today it is a pretty tough one. The end of the climb coming at 42 kilometres. 42 kilometres, going to be a tough one for our riders here today. So underneath that sprint banner they go those times. Relatively immaterial, to be brutally honest. Let's go through, but they are picking up confetti stowing down around our riders as they make their way in through. No real surprises down there. The rider we're in with at the moment. Mason Harper looking pretty comfy in there, you know. So Mason Harper of the Pine Sports Coast Riders. And good to see Rick Jameson keeping his riders on their toes. Not just using one form of training, but mixing it up with riding on the Chaingang as well as out on the bikes as well. together, all quiet on the western front. I'll tell you something, today's going to be one of the quietest, not just from me, because I'm absolutely shattered after the weekend on the cross, but are starting to feel it now. Miss Cookie saying that's her maxed out, and Cookie now is job done. Ian Taylor going to drop back for Cookie. I think Sousa also now feeling the pace. Not surprised given the pace. 4 watts per kilo is pretty brutal stuff, and this climb up here enough to distance our riders once we hit 4 watts per kilo on the climb. Miss Cookie riding, going to have Sousa, Louisa Sousa for company. Sousa just in front of Miss Cookie, and Jad Taylor just waiting to roll back, just rolling away down this slope as two riders start to make their way towards her. Seeing Nicholas Soden just having to look, see whether she's going to make her way up there. So Soden, distanced by that lead group. Balgan's still in there. Pace is keeping hard. There's nobody being really forced, I think, to crazy numbers just to keep in. Just yo-yoing at the back of the group, pretty solid here with Morn just holding the station to 3 watts per kilo. Everybody aware that time is ticking now. 29 point, nearly 30 kilometres covered at this stage. No legs today from Nicholas Soden. Sure, your avatar's got 2 on the go, kiddo. And this is where Nicholas Soden needs to now make the call. Do you wait for the red? And the bus is formed. Ding ding, yes please. All aboard. So the bus formed. It's good to see. Yeah, and Louisa in the bus, the space on the red bus, as Jan says. And the go has gone, so we need to get up to the front because trigger has been pulled by our yellow beacon. We're going to dive in with Rhea Mob. She's the rider who really has got a target on her back these days when it comes to the chain gang. But look at this, a massive sprint over the top there by Emily Bridson. Bridson, no respecter of reputation here today. She's like, oh, here we go. Let's have it. So this is going to make life difficult further back. You can just see that it is starting to trail out riders out the back. This is like a comet entering the Earth's atmosphere. There's a big section at the front, but behind, my goodness me, they're in 1s and 2s as the riders try and stay with this group. The pressure is on. Who can stay with them? So the bus is formed. We've got riders scattered in between, a bit more in there. Looks like Balkan's also the same job. Fennell done as well. Emma Gilbert saying, that's me done for today. Well, Emma, thank you very much for joining us. Emma Gilbert, one of our regular riders in the gang. As this group really are smashing the way down here. We're just in with Emma Dooley from Fear. And I think Izzy Torrey at the moment leading this along, putting the pressure on as they come around these turns. Now, a quick reminder that we will make our way out from the standard circuit on to the climb. This will be tough stuff. Can they stay in there? Can they hold on to the group? Time to find out. form. One or two riders keep it on kicking. One or two riders keep on putting a push on, but nothing crazy at the moment. Nothing breaking it open, nothing opening up that we would expect to see things going very, very scary, because at the moment it's looking good together now. Emma Gilbert tucked in there. We've got Dooley in, looking pretty smooth here. Webster's in, Britson's in, Brasser's on board here, Vale's in, Whitfield's in. Yellow Beacon keeping an eye on what's going on. Maisie Harper holding station in here as well. So two Bike Sport coach riders together in and riding well. Will anybody go? Will anybody go before they get to the climb? Will it be at the foot of the climb? Will it be the early sections? Could it be on those little rolling road that takes you round and in? Difficult place to kick on from. Salting up the pace, widening. This group going into a long line again as another squeeze goes. Rear mobs on the front again, doing damage to this group. Mobs heart rate 183 beats when you're looking smooth. Torrey answering the call. Glued to the back wheel here, both riding on the Tron bike, both going for the best all-round bike here. Bridson going for the Canyons, got the aero frame. Interesting call there by Bridson, aero frame, lighter wheels on the bike. Webster. Webster's there on the S-Works, on that Vega S-Works with the lightest disc wheel set, so very aero wheel set. These four riders just starting to pull Dooley clear here. Wells just a little bit further back, as is Seeley. This is a gap that is starting to form. Are they going to let this stay in there? This is dangerous now, times now here on the chain gang. As these riders come in and through, you can see that we have a little gap just starting to form here. And it is coming in behind, but they're going to find themselves, I think, pulled back into the fold, as we can still see at the moment. That is Mobs on the front of this group, still holding that pace high in that blue Tron bike. The group still looking pretty good at the moment. Seeley on the left hand side. Will it be the Terminator's day at the office today? Up against some very fast riders. I'll tell you who is riding very strongly today. Joanne Lee, definitely improving all the time. Come on, Joanne, get on those wheels. You can't afford to let a gap go. Get into position, absolutely key. Do not let that gap ease out. If it does, you're going to find yourself in trouble, and that's what you don't want to have happen on this running. We're so close to going up on to the climb here. At the moment, the gap from front to back on this group is about 3 seconds from Torrey at the front, right the way back through to the group now. Maisie Harper looks like Maisie's just been spat out by that group. Don't worry, there's plenty more riders. Find another rider. And remember, it's not over till we get to the top of that climb. If you can stay in the pace, you can stay in that group, you've got a chance going down into the tunnels here. We're making our way down into the descent. This is going to be really tough stuff now, because as we drop down. Our leading group are really using that speed of the descent to try and break clear of the group behind. If you take a look, you can see that gap has opened up. So our leading group of mobs, Webster, Torrey, Bridson, Vale, Dooley, 2 seconds clear of Lee, Seeley, Bratton, Wells, Whitfield, and our beacon, that is Emma. But look at this, it's not all over. It's not all over. This is not been a decisive move. That gap is not all that far. You can see at the moment that is going to be Whitfield making her way on to the back. This is absolutely key. Now Whitfield's made the junction. She's gone straight in. She's gone straight over the top of this group up onto the front. You can see on the left hand side of your screens at the moment, the leading group is coming back together again. The work that they did has not been decisive. They are now basically back to being pretty much one big group. So this is 12 riders. The last rider of that group, that is Full Speed Events Emma, who is just starting to let that gap go. Then it's going to be Maisie Harper, currently in 13th position. Emma Gilbert in 14th. Fennell's going to be in 15th. Balkans in 16th at the moment. But the back of this group, who is going to be in the danger zone? Well, at the moment, Tracy Seeley and Julie Bratton are the two riders that are almost side by side. Seeley on the far side. And that kit almost like the old refreshers colour scheme on the old 1990 suites. I'm thinking the 1990s went on for a long time. At the moment, Webster looking smooth. Mobs on the front, setting the tempo, taking it to everybody else. We're at 33.4 kilometres. Just a quick reminder for you today, top right hand side of your screen. We've got to get to 42k, 42 kilometres. This is not easy. This run on Leith Hill is a very, very tricky run out, and it means that there's still plenty of distance. Use too much energy now, and you are going to pay for that later, but you've got to get in there. So 42k, remember, is the finish. A quick reminder of the profile. We are currently sitting at what is going to be 37 kilometres, 37 kilometres covered, which drops us nicely on the start of the climb. If you didn't know that from the screens, you'll know it from your legs. If you're riding at the moment, 7% the gradient. The gaps have definitely started to open out now. So looks like Lee 6 seconds down on Dooley, and the back of the pack, Tracy also now being distance determinated, needs to harness some of that inner complete robot-like cyborg ability to really kick on. Bridson with Dooley of Fear, with Wells of Tactic, with Vale of Next PB Insured. Two riders very much expected to be up at the front. Torrey is right up there now, and Torrey has company because she's got Webster and she's got Mobs with her at the moment. These are your leading three riders that are on the twists and turns. Still plenty of distance though to the top of the climb here today. So Webster glued to Torrey's wheel, glued to Mobs' wheel. One smooth lines of a run. This is going to be very interesting how this is going to play out. We know that Mobs is the big favourite, but Torrey overall, I think, is probably one more on balance in the over the total time scales. So close. Three very, very closely matched riders. Will they be able to stay together? Will they be able to sprint this out? The archway's at the top. You can actually see it top left-hand side of the satellite navigation view. If we open it up, you can see the top Box Hill almost alongside at the moment where we are. Unfortunately for our run, if you're not going there, it's only just over the other side of the hills here in the world of Zwift. It's at the moment the push coming from Mobs, starting to open up a little bit of a gap to Webster. Angela Webster needs to keep squeezing here to stay in contention. That gap showing us 2 seconds. This is a key moment for Webster now. She needs to be in touch. She's not in touch. She's not going to make it in with the leaders into that finale, not give herself the chance of being in the right place at the right time. So critical that they get themselves into position at the right time here. You cannot afford to let the gas go. Unfortunately, some days you just can't hold the wheels now. Can Tori hold on to Mobs? This is going to be our last 2 rows that are locked together up on the front of this group as we ascend. You can see the height that we have climbed already on this hill here in the Surrey Hills. The gaps have opened. The riders have broken apart. A huge number of riders out from the pack, deposited them on the hillside and left them, and now it's just about fighting for their individual positions. Up on the front though, no separating Mobs, no from Tori. Still plenty of distance to go. We are at what is 38.1k for Tori. It is 35.6 for Mobs, both just joining late. They're well on the way up towards the summit to give you a clear indication of that. We're going to just pull up our satellite view. We're still a long way off getting to the very summit here, but you can see at the moment the roads all stretched out and round now. They're round in to the tight right hand to the real quick kicker after that little bit of a fast section. And Tori now still glued on the wheels. This was a sprint. We've seen some great tactics from the 2 riders. We have seen them ghost each other. We have seen them take on each other using their power-ups, and that is what it could come down to between these 2. Who has got a power-up? Who's got something that's a good power-up as well? Because that is going to be key. A decent power-up here could be the critical deciding factor for these riders, and we are not yet on to the steepest slopes. We're still on to the long drag before the big kicker into the finish. And at the moment, the leaders, well, they've opened up a substantial gap. It is 11 seconds down to Webster now. A little bit further back, 20 seconds, you have a group here. So this is Vale. It is Dooley, it's Bridson, it is going to be Wells a little bit further back. Wells just chasing that group. They're 17 seconds ahead, 21 seconds behind. I think it's going to be Joanne Lee. It is. Then it's going to be Tracy Seeley, the Terminator, followed by Maisie Harper. Harper holding off the yellow beacon at the moment, who is 5 seconds ahead of Fennell at the minute. So Jessica Fennell chasing the yellow beacon. Emma Gilbert is just behind her. You've got Julie Bratton in here as well, still very, very close up at the front of the race. Let's head back up there very briefly. You can see we've got Mobs and Tori. They're still glued together as we come into this really tight left-hand turn. Round the bend they come. The gradient eases. It's a point. You can put that pace on here. Can you squeeze? Can you accelerate? Now is the time to do so. If you can move fast, now is the time where it's really going to pay off. It is not steep. It is not a tough part of the climb. But having the pace here could be using energy that you could save for later. Bridson chasing Webster at the moment. Dooley basically on her heels with Whitfield as well. but Mobs is leading this out. It's Mobs and Torrey at the moment, holding off everybody else behind. So our riders working well at the moment on the front. Here they come out the cloud. They come into the sunshine. They are up into the top of the climb here, as Jan Taylor has a wahoo disconnect. That is not good news. So nobody wants that at this stage. Our leaders, though, they are connecting with the gradient 6% at the moment as they go in through the trees. So here we go. So on to the climb they go. The run up this last steep section begins. Is a run up to the top. There's not much time as the gradient eases at the top before we get to that polka dot banner, and that is that banner that is absolutely key for our riders, because that is when they know they are in and through the finishing line. So Mobs leading right alongside Torrey, sits here. Not going to do any assistance, I suspect, here. They're going to play brinkmanship, because behind Webster is not that far behind. It's 7 seconds. 7 seconds of difference in time. The distance brought down by the gradient, 8% at the moment. Then it's Bridson. Bridson 14 seconds off Webster, 21 seconds off Mobs and Torrey. Whitfield only a second behind. Then it's Dooley, almost equidistant, right on Dooley's heels, same distance behind as well. It is Vale of next PB insured. Then you can see it's Wells. Wells, really good revs. It's kicking to try and keep it smooth here as we come in between the red brick walls. The gradient through this section, in through the walled section. It goes, it kicks at 9, but Mobs is starting to distance Torrey, and Torrey, I think, has gone pop here. Torrey has had to ease off and let that go. So it looks like a problem for Izzy Torrey. She's moving into the hands of Webster. It is Mobs, it is Torrey, it is Webster. And Webster's closing in on Izzy Torrey at the moment, but Mobs has seen this. She's pushing now at 5 watts per kilo. She eases it back a little bit, but Izzy Torrey not staying with the pace of our leader at this stage. Starting to get tricky now as they make their way up here. Who can challenge Rhea Mobs? At the moment, she's absolutely flying her way up this climb. 10%. The polka dot banner is starting to come into sight in front. Behind, though, in second place, it is no longer Izzy Torrey. It's Angela Webster, and Webster's pushing on here. Izzy Torrey, I think now he's finding it incredibly tough. She's reached that limit. She's taken herself to the limit. I know Izzy will have pushed herself until she's gone out the other side, and I think she's now paying the price. Mobs' pace is keeping her clear of Webster. It's 9 seconds at the moment, and is this a more considered ride here by Mobs, because she knows she doesn't want to blow? She's seen Torrey get into trouble on the climb. Torrey starting to regroup. Just see some bigger numbers coming from Torrey. Chasing Webster, chasing Mobs at the moment. Mobs, though, well on her way. She's into this last 3-line section. Well, as Emma from Full Speed Events says, everybody's leaving it all on the hill today. Everybody pushing themselves as far as they can. Fennell overtaking our yellow beacon, really pushing on. She's got Harper just in front. Harper has a target in the shape of Tracy Seeley, 18 seconds in front, 20 seconds from Seeley to Lee. Then it's Wells, a further 9 seconds up the road. Our leading rider, though, 40 seconds up onto this little easing of gradient as we come up to the top of the climb. It goes to 4%, so it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but Rhea Mobs on a mission at the moment to add another victory to her tally of victories here on the Donny Chaingang. She comes into this last kicker. It's 10%. It is brutal as it comes in because you can see it's climbing up to 11. And that gantry, well, it comes into sight around that left-hand turn eventually. But it's very difficult to see till the last minute. If you're looking at a satellite view on your top right-hand side of your screens, you'll see exactly where it is. If you're not, if you don't keep an eye on the top right, it's almost impossible to tell. You basically got to come out into the sunshine at the top of the climb. The gap to Webster, 7 seconds. You can see the glowing blue Trombike of Mobs in front. Webster's got that in her sights. The gradient, though, continues to kick. And it's about half the distance from Webster to the line that we see Rhea Mobs. She has about half the distance to go to get to that finish line than Webster has. And I think she's going to hold on here even if she eases off. It's going to be Mobs who's going to come over the top. She's looking good at the minute for Mobs as she makes her way up into sight. Comes the banner. You can see Rhea Mobs here keeping it smooth, 70 revs per minute. But it's going to be Rhea Mobs who comes over the line. Another victory for Mobs here on the Women's Only Wednesday Chaingang. What a ride by Mobs. Her time, 6:50.5 on the climb. Behind, great riding, good pacing by Angela Webster. She comes up behind. It's not going to be a big gap here. She goes over the line. It's a 6:52 on the climb. 2 seconds separated them on the climb. It was about 15 as they came to the line. And that shows you just how well-paced Webster was on that climb. She accelerated and closed the gap down on the climb. Now, long-time challenger of Rhea Mobs. She gave it absolutely everything. You can see the pain in Izzy Torrey's legs there. Her avatar is going, that is absolutely killing. So 7:32 for Izzy Torrey. A third place here today on the Chaingang ahead of Emily Britson. Britson comes through to take away fourth place here today. She goes into third place on the climb. She's being chased here by Emma Dooley of the Fear Squad. These gaps are not huge between our riders as they come up to the finishing line. It's going to be Emma Dooley. Dooley comes up to the line. In underneath the banner she goes. And it is a fourth place on the climb at 7:27. A fifth place overall as Whitfield now starts to crest the hill. The gantry comes into sight. This is the run for the line for Whitfield, for Rachel Whitfield. This is the kick in to the finish. She's going to make her way in underneath that banner. There she goes. It's going to be sixth place on the climb, sixth place on the Chaingang for Whitfield, a 7:52 and an UPB, which is always good to see. Immediately behind is Wells. Wells comes through with a 7:45, faster time on time already in through the gantry, as the next rider up is going to be Vale. So Tactic putting Wells up there, riding strongly on the climbs, chased by the next power by Ensure. It is going to be Vale. Vale 8th on both the climb and on the ride. It's going to be a top 10 today for Joanne Lee. Joanne's going to make her way in through the finish here today. Good job done by Joanne Lee. A 9th place on the ride. It's going to be an 8th place on the climb, as Tracy Seeley is our next rider onto this final kicker for that finishing line. On Women's Only Wednesday, remember, of course, the women's avatars do behave differently to the men's avatars, which is why the ride is very different if you ride it with your own gender. So good riding by the Terminator once again on another big block of riding. And I'm sure we'll be seeing Tracy Seeley on the Donny Chaingang tomorrow. You can just see the riders making their way over the top. Vale just spinning those legs out. Seeley having to kick for that line. She's trying to stay clear of a fast chasing Maisie Harper here. Harper on a good ride up in towards the top of the ascent. So Tracy's going to take top 10. She's going to hold a 10th place here today in the Donny Chaingang at the top of the climb. She's going to come through, kicks in that feather as she goes over the top. Maisie Harper It's an 11th place from Maisie today. Will she break top 10 next week? We'll have to see. Harper goes up to the top of the climb, over the top of the climb. What time is she going to post in through? 8th fastest goes to an 8:12 from Harper. And 11th place she goes in through time to spin those legs out, Maisie. As our next rider is going to be Jessica Fennell, followed by Emma Gilbert, who has climbed ahead of Emma from Full Speed Events. They have a bit of a gap to Soden, to Morn, to Balkers, to Souza, and to Cookie, who are our last riders on courses. Jan Taylor having issues with the bike. And I'll tell you something, Fennell can't relax here because Gilbert's got her in the sights. But I think Fennell is going to hold this. Fennell is on her way to the line here. Great riding by Fennell. 12th place here today on the Chaingang. Top half of the field. Makes her way in and through as Emma Gilbert chases her all the way in to that finish. Now our next rider up to the finishing line will be Emma from Full Speed Events today, riding in the yellow jersey of our yellow beacon. And a massive thank you to Emma for sorting the routes, doing the planning, and of course riding as a beacon as well. Good ride after racing yesterday, taking the win in the time trial. Now a little bit further down the hill, so we've got Nicholas Sutton, we've got Pitmore, we have Balkans from Bowen, we've got Souza in here, Louisa Souza, and Miss Cookie all the way up onto the climb. Emma from Full Speed Events is up and over the top. Nicola is on her way in towards that final finishing section. So little chance for me to say, please, 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 do tell your friends about the Donny Chaingang, the Wow Chaingang, and all of the events that we run here at Full Speed Events. All the events we cover. So that is all of our esports as well as lots of the World Cups. Now, as Emma says, please do bring a friend next week. More riders, the easier it is because there's more draft to hide behind. It's that straightforward. It'll always be tough once the go happens, but of course the easier it is in the run into that, the better it is for everybody. Now we do have a busy week coming up. Tomorrow we'll be bringing you the Donny Chaingang. That'll be going out on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. That is on Thursday. On Friday evening into the early hours of Saturday morning, if you are a slight insomnia, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can watch the BMX first round of the BMX World Cup. Myself and the legend from BMX, Rich Eames, will be here in the Full Speed Event studios, bringing you all of that action from Rotorua. So we're going to be putting words to the action, getting you up to date with the changes, the moves in the categories, the new teams, the riders, and the action in the men's and women's under 23s and in the elite categories. That's coming out from Rotorua to you, 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning. Round 1 on Saturday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't forget, if you don't know who wins it, don't go on social media. If in doubt, get yourselves, watch the video. It's an absolutely cracking set of racing. After that, Saturday night into Sunday morning, we're going to be first of all kicking off. Rich and myself will be back with round number 2 of the BMX World Cup, again from Rotorua. Social media feed, that is at Full Speed Events, at Matt Fixapaden, at Biking Emma. And that takes us through to Sunday mid-afternoon, at which point not only am I going to be overdosing on ice cream, but we're going to be getting ready for the following week. That is a very similar format in terms of the WOW on Wednesday. We will be having the Chaingang, Donny Chaingang on the Thursday. And then on Saturday, it is the Donny Chaingang members meal at Nonna's on the Saturday. So we'll be doing that before our Sunday Sport show. So please do tune in. Now, Nicholas Sutton, one of our great supporters, goes over the top for the Tactic Race Team. Nicholas' time on there at 9:05. Now we know Nicholas can go up there quicker than that, but today making sure that she measures that effort just ahead of a chasing Pitmore. Balkans is not far behind Morn, here about 16 seconds down. Then it is Louisa Souza and then Miss Cookie tapping away up on to the climb. Soden, though, over the top, about to make her way down past the tower, onto that spin down. And remember, there are 2 kilometres of warm down over the top just to stretch your legs out. So Morn on to the climb here. with Balkans right behind. Then it's going to be Sousa, then Cookie. There are riders out on course at the moment. But Pitmon, the next rider approaching that polka dot banner. The Queen of the Mountains Arch at the top here of Leith Hill. Fastest time set by Rear Mobs, a 6:50. 6:50.5. Absolutely blisteringly quick. So Pip often our red beacon, as well as looking after riders when she's not on beacon duties. Just comes over the top of that 12% section of the slope. Now making her way in towards that polka dot banner. That's job done. It is a great ride by Pitmon. She comes in underneath the banner. Time for that warm down. 16th place here today on the Women Only Wednesday. Chaingang behind. Balkans coming through. Apologies for not using your first name, but can't find it on any of the things that we use to tell who's who and what and where. So Balkans is going to be our next rider. So coming up in to the finish, in through the line goes Balkans. It's going to be 17th place. The Belgian rider makes way in over the top. Next rider in should be Sousa, being followed by Cookie. There are two riders out on the course at the moment, making the way up to the top of that climb. Now, as our riders make the way up, quick reminder for you, please, guys, we really love your support. So to do that, what we need you to do is go on and follow us up there. At Matt Fix Payne, that's me, Matt Payne. Commentator, career commentator apparently, according to some. Actually, I'm a rider, I'm a coffee addict, ex-racer. Still turn the bike quickly every now and then when I'm not bouncing down the road on my head. And yes, I do commentate on lots of the World Championships as well as the World Cups and lots of different disciplines, and have been talking about esports for a long, long time. Rider on Zwift since 2015, I think it was, if I can remember correctly. Above, you can see the Full Speed Events logo. Please do give Full Speed Events a shout, a mention, and a follow. Full Speed Events, the overarching network that brings together both myself and Biking Emma Martin, that you'll see at the top there. It's Biking_Emma. Is a commentator, rider, coach, racer, statistician, as well as being the person who stitches together the Wow Chaingang. Please give Emma a follow as well. There are plenty of people behind the scenes who help us make it happen, and they are the team that help us from the tech through to the stats, through to the research that allows us to live this crazy world of event commentary. But please, please, please do give us a follow. The more follows, the easier it is for us to bring you these events, to get the support of people like Zwift, who, without whom the race just wouldn't be possible. So please, please, please do give us those follows. It does make getting the events on much easier. So please do that. Tell your friends, and as Emma says, bring a friend next week. Don't forget, if you give us follows on social media, you'll find us doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things we can't necessarily mention here on the Women Only Wednesday. You need to follow our social media feed for that. Don't forget to jump onto the Facebook page. That is the Women Only Wednesday Facebook page. We have the Women Only Wednesday week in France coming up in May. That's a Wednesday to Wednesday, including the weekend. You don't have to come for all of it, just come for some of it. Have some fun out in the French countryside in the sunshine. And there's going to be lots of great things happening out in France in May, and lots of fun to be had. So I hope you're going to join us then. Time to get back to Sousa, who's pretty much at the top of the climb right now and about to hit that banner. It's going to come into sight very shortly indeed, and when it does, we know that Sousa is going to be able to relax those legs, to spin the legs out, and to maybe just try and get rid of some of that lactic acid that will have built up on the climb. Sousa gets back down into the saddle as the gradient eases here. This is that run for the line. Here is the gantry. Here's the arch of the Queen of the Mountains. As up over the top of the climb comes Souza. Great riding by Louisa Souza. And time for Louisa to spin those legs out. And that leaves us one rider on the climb, who's our de facto red beacon. Not the one on the line, the start line. That is our avatar that we've been using to watch the race. It is Miss Cookie, the one and only Miss Cookie. Let's give Miss Cookie another ride on as well. We'll drop one on from ourselves as well here in the studios as Miss Cookie makes her way up into the final sections here of the climb. That gantry is going to come into sight very shortly indeed. Just round that left-hand turn, it just chicanes a little bit, which is what makes it more difficult to see. But she comes in here into the finish. It's going to be Miss Cookie taking everybody in towards the line, bringing the Wow Chaingang to a close here on the 7th of February, riding to the finish on Leith Hill. That final 12% kick. The little section as you come on the inside of the bend here that takes you into the archway. So Cookie comes in, one tough Cookie, as somebody has said earlier, and that is definitely true of Sarah. So well done, congratulations. Time to roll down, pick up those points and spin the legs out. And that means that's all from us tonight. Please do join us next week. We're going to Mercury Islands, going to the Two Village Loop. It's 40k. The climbs are a lot less. It's a little bit more frequent but and bumpy, but it's a great loop. It's one of the favourites for the Wow Chaingang, so please do join us then. But from Emma, from Jan, our yellow and red beacons, from myself, Matt Payne, stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.